Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to explore the idea that disclosure is already underway. That is to say, the suggestion that we are already being told of the reality of extraterrestrials visiting our planet and interacting with us. 42 years ago, I went to see Steven Spielberg's film Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like many people then and since, I was amazed and inspired by that film. How many people, I wonder, left those cinemas in the 1970s with a renewed sense of wonder, looking up at the night sky, or as little of it as they could see past the light pollution of our towns and cities, wondering if they too would one day have their own close encounters. If you've never seen that film, I recommend you watch it, and if you've already seen it, watch it again. The 1970s also saw the growth of the environmental movement and the exploration of alternative forms of sustainable technology. We protested about the slaughter of whales in our oceans, pollution, nuclear power, and thermonuclear weapons. As many ufologists are aware, ET craft have shown a keen interest in nuclear weapons and power stations. According to testimonies collected as part of Dr. Stephen Greer's Disclosure Project, UFOs disabled missile warheads and otherwise interfered with nuclear weapons during the 1950s and the 1960s. Some say that it was the dropping of atomic weapons on Japan and the testing of such devastating weaponry since that accelerated the interest of alien races in Earth and which initiated the sightings that continue to this day. It is said that we not only posed a grave danger to ourselves and our home planet, but also risked severe damage to the galactic web which connects all things. In the 4 decades that have passed, much has changed. The Cold War ended and there are far fewer thermonuclear weapons. The hole in the ozone layer is getting smaller since we stopped releasing CFCs into the atmosphere. Alternative technology has moved from the fringes to the mainstream, and we know that we must stop using fossil fuels. The Internet and the World Wide Web have emerged, and this has not only given us the means to share information quickly and without government control, but it has also given us a clear example of how a network can connect all things. The web, our very own cyberspace, is a reminder of the similarities between ecology, the interconnection of all life on Earth, and the idea that the solar system, galaxy, and the universe exist in a vast network. And, just like the butterfly effect here on Earth, so too can our actions have an effect elsewhere in the universe. Much progress has been made, much more than the media would have you believe, but much more remains to be done. With the threat of thermonuclear war diminished for the moment, we're still left with the devastating effect of the human race on the Earth's natural environments. And a lot of this damage is being done by our dependency on oil. Some have said that we are being denied access to free, clean and unlimited energy in the form of zero-point energy, a technology that our alien friends have long since learned to use. Instead, we are tax slaves to economies that depend on oil and all the pollution and wars that this dependency generates. But the status quo cannot last for several reasons. The first of which is the fact that we could end up creating unimaginably catastrophic ecological disasters, the kind of scenarios from which no amount of money can protect you, so even the wealthiest oil barons are going to have to change. The second is the fact that a growing number of individuals in key positions can no longer carry the weight of the secrecy, and are ready to assist in the process of disclosure, believing it's time that we tax slaves knew the truth. We've had decades of acclimatization to the reality of extraterrestrials, and I don't think the current or next generation are going to panic at the news that we're not alone in the universe. The third is the fact that the reins of power are no longer entirely in the hands of the military-industrial complex. Before the development of the Internet, all information, and therefore power, was in the hands of the government, the military and the media. That's no longer the case, and it may be that ET will not be talking direct to the President or landing on the White House lawn. Instead, they may decide to communicate with the groups of people who reach out to them and who have no agenda other than open and mutually beneficial interaction for the good of the planet, and therefore the benefits to the rest of the web of life. They may simply decide that we're taking too long to give up oil and we're not doing enough to reverse the disastrous effects of human activity on Earth. So perhaps they'll step in and say, "Look, this is how you do it. Do it right and do it now." As Nick Pope said in a recent interview shown on the UFO Hub YouTube channel, we live in interesting times. For 21 years, Nick worked for the UK Ministry of Defence and ran the department that investigated UFO sightings within the UK's airspace. In the conclusion of the video, he points out that the UFO sightings are now being discussed openly. It's no longer a fringe subject confined to the sensational headlines in the tabloids, although such articles do still appear and will probably continue to do so. And it's no longer appropriate to play the X-Files theme tune when someone appears on TV to describe a sighting or to discuss the subject. Recent events like the revelations about the US Department of Defense-funded Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, AATIP, and the footage from the USS Nimitz tic-tac UFO incident of 2004 have put the subject of unexplained aerial phenomena on the table. It's no longer acceptable to simply dismiss UFO sightings as hallucinations or misidentified natural phenomena when the people reporting the sightings are military pilots and their testimonies are supported by infrared video footage and radar. Nick concludes the interview by saying that disclosure isn't necessarily a single event in which a world leader announces that top-secret sections of the government have been in contact with extraterrestrials. Instead, he suggests that disclosure is gradual and an ongoing process. It's happening right now, and you only have to read what's being published in the media to realize this fact. Another recent interview was conducted by Fox News' Tucker Carlson, in which Chris Mellon, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense and Intelligence, who has been closely involved in the production of a History Channel 6-part docuseries called Unidentified, mentioned three theories for the recent sightings. First, there is the suggestion that China or Russia has leapfrogged the US into developing ultra-fast and highly maneuverable drones. Second, there was the idea that these UAPs are in fact US test aircraft, but this idea has been largely discarded given the statements made by the US Navy. And third, there is the possibility that these unexplained aerial phenomena originate on another planet or in another dimension. With sightings that include multiple professionally trained witnesses, infrared video footage, radar corroboration, and flying characteristics that seemingly defy the laws of physics, there could be no longer any debate about the reality of unexplained aerial phenomena. The discussion has moved on to the next level, and it's time that we, the public and the media, started taking it more seriously. Thanks for watching. If you have any opinions on this subject, please share them in the comments below this video. Please subscribe to my channel as I'll be exploring these and related subjects in more videos.